Okay, so now we need to focus in on our rule. Our rule or our procedure for adding and subtracting fractions is this. You must have a common denominator in order to be able to add or subtract. So if this is what we have to have, then we need to find it sometimes. So let's go through some examples here. Here we have 2/9 plus 5/12. We are adding fractions, which means we must have a common denominator. Right now we do not. So we need to change both of those fractions into something with the same denominator. Well, this is where you could write out all of your multiples and then find the common one. Or another way of looking at it is we can just start with the larger number and think of the multiples. 12 times 1 is 12. 9 will not go into 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 9 will not go into 24. 12 times 3 is 36. 9 will go into 36. That's how we find the common denominator, which is the same thing as the least common multiple, sort of in our head. We're not really doing it in our head. I mean, you could literally list out your multiples. I always start with the larger number and then keep going until I find something that the other denominator will go into as well. Now we create our equivalent fractions. So what do I have to multiply to 9 to make it a 36? Well, I'd have to multiply that to 4, which means we're going to do the exact same thing to the top so that we're multiplying by 1, keeping it balanced. 2 times 4 would be 8. Now we've created that equivalent fraction. Let's do the same thing with the second one. 12 times 3 would be 36. So 5 times 3 would be 15. And now we can add those fractions together. Because they have the same denominator, we'll keep that denominator of 36, and 8 plus 15 would be 23. So 23 over 36 is our answer for this addition. Now, it doesn't matter whether you have only two things added together or more than that. Our rules are still the same. In order to add these fractions, we must have the same denominator, but we don't right now. So I'm going to create equivalent fractions. Starting with the largest denominator of 8, I'm going to write out the multiples until I can find something that both 3 and 4 will go into also. So 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24. 24 is divisible by each one of those. So that tells me that 24 is my common denominator. Now we create the equivalent fractions. 3 times 8 will give us 24. So we have to multiply the top by the same thing. 1 times 8 is 8. Now 8 times 3 would give us 24. So multiplying the top by the same thing, 3 times 3 would be 9. Now the last one. 4 times 6 would be 24. So multiplying the top by the exact same thing, 1 times 6 would be 6. And now we can add all the way across here because we have a common denominator. Our denominator will stay 24, and 8 plus 9 would be 17 plus 6. Let's see, 17 plus 6, that would be 23. So it would be 23 over 24.